Most business owners think that the secret to more website conversions is just to throw more people at it.
Throw me. Bob, throw me!
Spend more money on ads, more SEO, more LinkedIn posts, and a million more YouTube videos. But the truth is that you can actually double your website conversions without touching your traffic sources whatsoever. And the lever that we're going to be pulling is A/B testing. So in this video, we're going to break down exactly what A/B testing is, why it works, and the easiest ways that you can start using it on all of your websites today. If you guys want more clients, more sales, and marketing that actually works, subscribe, because that's what all of my videos are built to help you do. Now, the first thing we need to talk about is the what and the why. So all an A/B test is just comparing two different versions of the same thing, right? So two different headlines, two different buttons, or two different page layouts to see which one gets more of your website visitors to do something on the page. Now, here's a quick example. So let's say we have a landing page that says, book your free demo today, and we want to see if some other headline would perform better. So we keep version A the same, and we change version B to say, see how we add $100,000 to client pipelines in 90 days. We observe both of those versions for the same amount of time, maybe 2 weeks to a month, and the data tells us which one converts better. Now, why does this matter in the first place? Now, most websites, I don't care if you're selling landscaping, marketing services, clothes, drinks, I don't care, they're bleeding money, right? So your website visitors are probably interested in the thing that you're selling, but they're not impressed with it, right? So they're coming to your page, they're skimming the info, and they're leaving without buying or giving you their email or whatever. Then you, as the business owner, sit there and assume that you just need more traffic, right? Because it seems like no one's interested in the things that you're selling. But traffic is really expensive. So you're either spending a ton of time to film and script and write more content, or thousands of dollars to get more eyeballs on the offer. If your site is not converting, it's like pouring water into a bucket with a giant hole in it, right? The real problem is usually inside of the website itself. So you have weak messaging that doesn't speak to your customers' pain points. You have confusing layouts that are burying the calls to action. You have long and clunky forms that make it really hard for people to sign up, or you're missing trust signals like guarantees and testimonials and case studies, right? The good news is that fixing these doesn't just improve conversions a little bit, it can actually radically transform your pipeline and your cost per lead or cost per action. Now, we know that it is a massive drain to spend thousands of dollars driving, 10,000 more page views on Google ads, LinkedIn ads, or Facebook ads, and it's a massive waste of time to spend thousands of hours filming more content and writing 100 new LinkedIn posts. Or you could tweak a couple different page elements and double the conversions from traffic that you are already receiving. That's all A/B testing is. It lets you find these small hinges that swing massive spikes in your revenue. All right, now we can talk about when to run A/B tests. So we can't run tests when we have no traffic, right? So we need enough visitors for our results to actually mean something, which is called statistical significance. So instead of chasing some arbitrary number like, oh, now I can run tests when I have 500 visitors a day or 1,000 a month, think in terms of proportion. So a good rule of thumb is to let 30% of your average monthly traffic see all of the variations of what you're testing before you call one of them a winner. So let's say you get 10,000 visits a month to your website. Don't decide on a winner after 300 people. Run that test until at least 2,000 to 3,000 of those people have gone through all of the variations of your test. So this ensures that you're seeing a real pattern and not just noise, right? If you called a winner too early, it's like you flipped a coin 3 times and then you're like, coins always land on heads, which obviously makes no sense. Now, the best times for you to run a test are after any kind of redesign to your page. This makes sure that the new version actually outperforms the old one, before you scale ads or make some kind of content push, because why would you pay to send traffic to a page that is underperforming, or when you're launching some kind of new offer, because you'll learn really fast what messaging or calls to action resonate most. This way, you're optimizing where the stakes and the upside for your business are the highest. Now we can talk about the technical setup that you need to run A/B tests and get the right data. The good news is that you don't need to know anything about software to do A/B testing in 2025. All the modern platforms make this drag and drop level simple. First thing is we just need to pick a platform. The beginner-friendly ones are VWO, Convert, or there's actually built-in features on Webflow, Wix, and HubSpot. All of these are plug and play, and you can launch a test in a couple minutes, right? Now, if you're a multi-million-dollar company, you're gonna be using something like Optimizely or Adobe Target because you need the personalization options, super deep integrations, and flexibility. But these are extremely pricey and usually overkill if you run a modest small business, right? Now, secondly, we need to make sure we've integrated all of our relevant analytics platforms, because the testing tool that we just picked is only as good as the data that we're giving it, right? So at minimum, you need to connect the three following. You need a Google Analytics account. This will track the numbers for all of your conversions, bounce rates, total traffic, etc. You also need to set up a Google Tag Manager account, because this will define your conversion events. So for example, also this document is available for you in the description for free. So if you see in this screenshot, we've defined several different conversion events, and we can track them all individually. So we can track how many employment application pages we're seeing, how many contact form conversions we're seeing, how many phone calls. We can track all of these individually instead of just saying, oh, we saw 120 conversions, but those aren't, defined items. We also need a heat map recording tool like either Hotjar or Microsoft Clarity to actually see how people are behaving on each version of the page that we create. So what you're gonna get with Hotjar is a scroll map and a click map. So you're gonna see, the redder it is, more people saw that, and the bluer it is, people obviously aren't scrolling there. Click map, same thing here. You can see what services, what sub pages of your website are most interesting to your viewers. Now, most of these platforms are going to give you a very short code snippet, usually JavaScript, and you're gonna paste it into your website's header. This is what that looks like on WordPress. Really simple. Most platforms have some kind of header and footer code section, and you will literally just copy and paste the Google tag that you're given from whatever platform into your header code. Now, there's millions of tutorials on that. If you need help with it, you can just send me a DM on any platform, and I'm sure I can figure it out for you. Now, setting that up is what allows the platforms to split the traffic evenly between the different versions of your test and then report back to you the results of them. Now, the next step is, as I said before, we have to define the conversion goals inside the platform, whether that's button clicks, form conversions, a purchase, or engagement events like some kind of video view. And then all of these platforms that we've set up are going to track how many visitors hit each goal, so all of those variations can be easily declared as winners or losers. Then we QA that before launch. We always want to preview the test, right, to make sure that both versions are loading correctly and the tracking is firing upon somebody clicking the conversion on either one of those pages, because we don't want to, burn a week of traffic just to realize that version B wasn't, logging any data. Now, if you don't want to use any tool, or if you don't, have access to it, the funds for it, whatever it might be, you can actually do this with no tools at all. So you can just run your current version of whatever page you have for, let's say, 2 weeks to a month, and then track those conversions manually in Google Analytics, because that is free, or whatever tracking that you already have set up. Then you can just swap in a new version for the next 2 weeks and then track again, and then compare the results side by side. Did those conversions improve or did they drop? This obviously isn't as accurate as splitting the traffic, and it takes longer because you have outside factors like seasonality, changes in ad spend, because that can skew your results, but it's infinitely better than you guessing on data, right? So it's like A/B testing light. So it's best for somebody who has an early stage business and you want the directional feedback without worrying about complicated tech integration. And finally, we can talk about the methods of A/B testing. So some quick notes before you test anything. Make sure your website loads relatively fast, 3 seconds or less on both mobile and desktop versions. Have very clear offers and calls to action in place, and then fix any obvious user experience issues like broken forms, broken links, or confusing navigation. Now, we can think of A/B testing like a 5-step process that is relatively similar to the scientific method that you learned in middle and high school. So first things first is we want to research. So starting with data from the past, looking at our analytics, heat maps, and other performance metrics, where are people dropping off our website right now? What are they not buying? What pages are bottlenecks to revenue? And then from that data, we're gonna form some kind of hypothesis, right? So if I shorten the form from 6 fields to 3, more people are gonna complete it. If I change our headline on our homepage to include a revenue-backed guarantee, more people will book a sales call. If on our product pages we say that all of our clothes are 100% cotton, more people will buy them, etc. Then we create a variation of the element that we want to test. So we build a new version of some element, shorter form, new headline, adding testimonials, whatever it is, and then keep the rest of the other version the same. And then we run that test for a predetermined amount of time. So we launch both versions using the tools that we already talked about, and then let the traffic split itself evenly, or if you're using that no tool method, run each version for equal time windows. And then we analyze the data. So did the change actually move conversions up or down? Did nothing happen at all? And then we deploy the winner, discard the loser, and then document whatever lessons that we learned. Now, to properly document those lessons, we need to make sure we have two different spreadsheets. Now, again, this document is available in the description for you to download completely free. The first spreadsheet is really simple, just documents our original hypothesis and all of the relevant parts of it. And the second one is a master sheet of all the tests that we've ever performed, and then has the winner and the definitive learnings from that test. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about here is beginner and advanced forms of A/B tests. So if you're brand new, as usual, we want to keep things very simple. Only test one variable at a time. Don't change, a headline, a button, and an image all at once. Just pick one. And again, run your tests long enough to see real traffic. Remember, 20 to 30% of your average monthly traffic should see all the variations of your test. And choose high leverage elements first. So your headlines, your calls to action, your form length, placement of social proof, etc. Don't obsess over minor details like color until you've tested the major messaging components that drive the biggest shifts in your revenue. This is going to give you clear wins that you can trust and doesn't overcomplicate things. The more advanced methods that you can use are multivariate testing. So instead of just one change, test combinations of headlines, images, and calls to action to see which bundle converts the best. And you can also run personalized tests to show different versions of your pages depending on the user segment. So depending on what device they're on, depending on if they come from Google Organic, Google Ads, Facebook ads, from Instagram, or even what industry they're coming from. And you can have performance-based goals. So instead of just clicks and form fills, you can tie that to a revenue metric like average order value, lifetime client value, or book demos that show up to sales calls. This is where your optimization becomes a long-term growth engine and not just one-off projects. So what is our key takeaway, right? So testing is not about guessing what button color feels right. It's about systematically removing uncertainty from your marketing funnel. When you apply this process week after week, month over month, the compounding effects are amazing for your business. These small wins are going to stack up into really big revenue jumps for your company. Let me know what troubles you guys are having with A/B testing and conversion tracking in the comments below, and I'll reply with advice on how I'd handle it. Thanks for watching, and if you got any value from this video, leave a like and subscribe for more business growth content. See you later.